10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
This is Dianne Andrews in black and white. The issues you don't want to talk about. The arts and entertainment you need to know. And now here's your host, Dianne Andrews.
Hello, I'm Dianne Andrews, your host of Dianne Andrews in Black and White. I want to thank you out in the audience for being here today. I want to thank YouTube around the world for viewing our shows. And I want to thank you all in those 40 parishes in TV land that watch us. Please continue to watch us. Let us know if there's something you want to see that we aren't bringing you. But since I've been on season break, I think we're bringing some very powerful shows, such as Common Core, such as Cuban immigration, and acupuncture and chiropractic. But today I think we have a very, very special show for you. This is really a show that people know to talk about, but don't want to talk about. Everyone knows someone who is gay, or who is a homosexual, or lives with someone, or is a transvestite who dresses like another person, as we heard Bruce Jenner was doing for the last 25 to 30 years, who is now what they call a transgender, which just means I'm going from one gender to the next gender. I have two women who will be with me today. We're going to start with Christy Guttrow. Thanks for being here, Christy.
Thank you.
And she's going to tell us about her journey as being a lesbian. Gay is a term in Western culture. Gay is not used in Eastern cultures. They call it men having sex with men or women having sex with women, WSW or MSM. So tell us, why and how did this transpire? I know you were married and you started a sexual relationship habitat with a woman.
Correct.
Tell me why.
I don't think I really had a why. It was just, I just decided to. There was no why.
You made a decision in your mind. I want to date a woman.
Yes.
And did you go out and find a woman, or you happened to see a woman that appealed to you and you said, I'm going to have a relationship?
It was like, once I decided, it was like a setup that I didn't see happening. Because when I first moved to Florida, I'd already decided in my mind before I left, that's what I'm going to do.
Now, you were in what part of the military?
In the Navy.
Okay, so you moved to Florida from Louisiana to be in the Navy, and you were married at the time.
Correct.
And your husband said, I'm joining you there. He was coming, right?
It was he's coming later.
Coming later, right. I will be joining you.
Correct.
And how long before, when you realized he's not coming?
After about 3-4 months.
3-4 months.
Yeah.
You all were arguing back and forth over the phone about him coming?
Yeah. And
okay.
and then I just decided, you know what, you stay where you are, and I'm gonna stay here.
So do you think you were a little impatient as you look back on this?
As I look back, of course.
Okay.
Definitely.
So you were a married woman having a relationship and cohabitating with another woman.
Correct.
How did you meet this woman? Were you at a club? Was it on a military base?
When I got to the barracks, I didn't have a roommate. And then like 2 weeks later, my roommate comes back. She had been on vacation. And I'm talking to her one day, and and I'm asking her, what is there to do in Jacksonville, And she said, oh, well, I just party. I go to clubs. I said, well, one night you go into the club, let me know, I want to go.
Right.
And she said, oh, I don't think you want to go to this club. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I want to go to this club?
Right.
And she said, oh, well, it's a gay club.
Now, did you wear your wedding ring?
At the time.
Were you wearing
it? Yeah.
Oh, so you had not pulled it off?
I hadn't pulled it off yet. No. And it just started from there. I went to a club with her almost every weekend for a few months. And then one day she said, well, you know what? Maybe you like a different type of music. So she introduced me to a different type. It was still a gay club, but a hip hop gay club, because I had been going.
And what year was this, Christy?
This was like 2002, I want to say.
Okay.
2002. And started going to the club, just got in the scene, and that's
what does got in the scene mean?
just started to build relationships with people that
And
were
women.
gay.
Everybody
Women
there.
and men, because
Oh,
I
this was
also got friendships
Okay.
with, not into relationships, but I developed friendships with men who were gay.
So this
my whole
club, both
surrounding
men and
became-
women went there.
Oh yeah, both of them.
So, but men were looking for men there,
Oh,
and women were
exactly.
looking for women
Exactly,
there.
exactly.
Now, did you find a lot what we call down low men? You think who were in there who may be married and looking for a gay liaison that their wife
in
didn't
the
know at home?
military.
In the military, a
I
lot.
came into contact with a lot of them. Yeah.
Okay, a
Yeah,
lot of
but
down
not
low.
in the club. You wouldn't know.
Okay.
Who was or
Yeah, I
wasn't.
thought
Yeah.
maybe you met a friend and you're just a friend and you may be talking. So, so you weren't. There was no man interested in you there because he was looking for men.
Correct.
So only women were interested in you.
Correct.
There. And how did this lady catch your eye? Or you hers?
I would go to the shows. I wouldn't stay at the club to dance. I would just go to the shows that they had, which would be, they call them drag shows, where they dress up.
Right.
The men dress
The
up as women.
transvestite kind of.
Kind of. They dress as the opposite sex and they perform.
Yeah.
So when I would go to the shows, I would just stand on the stage just so that I could be seen, because I was trying to get in the scene. You know, I was trying to become a part of what was going on. So I would go where people could see me. So I would go, I would stand on the stage. When the shows were over, I would leave. And one day I'm standing on the stage, and before I could leave out, she approached me, and it just started from there.
Was she in the military also?
No, she was a civilian.
She approached you. So you're at a club and everybody's approaching everybody of the same sex. Tell me how you felt the first time you went into a club that was same sex. You see women kissing women and men kissing and hugging men. How did that make you feel?
Not any way that I could remember.
No different. You didn't have a problem with it. So do you think
I didn't feel uncomfortable.
You were not uncomfortable. So do you think that you always had maybe a propensity to want to experiment and try out a gay relationship?
I think because I'd already experienced it as a young child.
You told me only fondling.
Yeah,
though.
only fondling. I think that's what allowed me to be relaxed and not, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that. You know, I was pretty open to it because I didn't really have a.
But you didn't really,
one way
as
or
a
the
child,
other.
you didn't know what you all were doing. You were just kind of playing with each other's private parts, just touching, right?
Yeah,
Things
but I
like
kind
that.
of knew that it wasn't what everybody else was doing.
Right.
You know, and knew that maybe my mom wouldn't approve, or,
Yeah.
you know, if an adult saw us, they wouldn't approve, you know. So I knew in some sense it was wrong, but not really, if I did this when I'm older, is it
Yeah.
wrong? Never had that thought.
What we're going to do, as you can see, Christy is a very attractive young lady, and we're going to have another young lady that we're going to talk to also, who is still a lesbian, or still gay, as we call it in America. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back with Dianne Andrews in Black and White.
Order your copies now of Dianne Andrews' latest books, Third Man Out, a suspenseful mystery by Dianne Andrews, and Gumbo for the Heart, 25 stories of faith, hope, and charity, both available now on Amazon.com.
Thanks for coming back to Dianne Andrews in Black and White. As I mentioned, I have two very attractive women who have both had gay relationships, and one who is still in a gay relationship and prefers women to men. Her name is Courtney Cavalier. Thanks for being here today with us, Courtney.
Okay.
And let's talk a little bit. We've talked a little. I'm going to be talking back and forth to the two of you all, but tell us a little bit about your journey. I know you've had sex with men before, and you did not like it. You
No.
preferred being with women.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're in a relationship right now. In fact, she's out in the audience. Two cameras shy to come up and meet us today. But what's her name?
Taylor.
Okay, Taylor. How long have you been with Taylor?
For 4 years.
4 years. And you all in a monogamous lesbian relationship.
Yes,
Is that correct? You don't date other people?
No.
And how many men have you been with in your life sexually?
2.
2 men. And did not like, were you having relationships or just sex? Were these long-term relationships?
Both, yeah.
Both, you've had both. I had an assistant that worked for me, and she told me, I asked her when she was like 20 years old when she came to work for me. And I asked her, I said, her name is Karen Brady, she won't mind me saying it. I asked her, have you ever been with a man? And she said, yeah, I've been with more men than women my age, but I prefer women. And there's, it's all about what you're comfortable with, because as we take this journey of life, if you're not happy with who you are, as we saw Bruce Jenner wasn't, and he told his wife Christy for 25 years that he wanted more and he needed something else, and he used to dress up as a transvestite, cross-dressing, because a transvestite who does dress in the opposite sex clothes can either be sexually active with that sex or just like to dress up. Like a woman wants to dress like a man and a man may want to dress like a woman. You don't have to be sexually engaged. Is it a different feeling for you? Since you did not like being with men, did it make you sick? I've heard a gay man told me he was with a woman and he had to go vomit after he was with her.
No, it didn't make me sick, but it's just something that I don't desire.
Don't desire.
I can do without.
Okay, now do you all, is it more like the touching, the feeling, or do you use assistive devices in your, is this okay to ask you this?
Yeah.
In your relationship?
Generally, no.
No.
No, we use our God-given parts.
Okay. How did you all, was she more, is this the first long-term lesbian relationship you've had?
No, this is my third.
Your third. So the first time, how old were you? And how old are you now, 24?
25.
25. And this is your third lesbian relationship, and you've been with two men and one long-term with men. So
No, not long-term.
Not long-term with any.
Just in a relationship.
Okay, long-term.
Well, with the girls, I've been with each of them is 3 girls.
Okay.
For at least 3 years.
Now, do you all, we said it's monogamous, so there's no other person coming into the bedroom with you all?
No.
Okay. Let me ask you this. When you were with a woman, were there any other people coming into the bedroom with you all? So it's always been just you and the women. Now, did you all use assistive devices, sexual devices, just female God-given parts? The reason I mention, as you all being very attractive women, when people think about lesbian, gay, homosexual men, they usually think about somebody looking butch, as we call it, or looking for a woman looking like a man. And audience, remember, I'm going to have a men's show too. This is one of 2 to 3 shows. I'm also looking at Taylor, Courtney's girlfriend, out in the audience. She's also an attractive lady. So when we look at women, you can't always tell who is gay and who's not, and especially with men. I think you have more down low with men than you do women who have I read the book down by the author, I can't remember his name now, but it's Down Low is the name of the book. And the author was saying that when he would, his wife would go to work and he'd go to work, and they'd been married, beautiful family, living in Georgia, 3 beautiful kids, and then every day at lunchtime he came home and had a liaison with a man. He happened to leave the door open one day, and the neighbor, nosy neighbors, nosy neighbor called his wife, and she'd seen this man come in every day for lunch, carrying lunch with him. And she called her to come home. They left the door open. So she walked straight in the house. They never heard her. She walked upstairs. They had an upstairs. And by the time she got up there, they were so heated into their sexual rendezvous, they never saw her when she came in. She ran out of the house. She called her brothers and told them about it. And what she did was went back home, changed the locks, and when he came home that night, he could not get in the door. He became a consultant to women because there are so many gay men, it seems to be, and more so in America. I did some statistics, and you cannot come up with a good number. In the world, they said maybe up to 1/4 of the world may be gay or bisexual. And in America, they're saying it's like 3.4% or 9 million people, they believe. But if you're down low, you're probably not going to tell that you're down low. And a lot of people may be homosexual and still not tell the world, if you're doing a survey on it, that they are. So it's really, I found numbers in my investigation between 9 million to 25 to 30 million in America. So, take the number that you choose. But at the end of the day, just as I keep bringing up Bruce Jenner, and you've seen this picture on the screen, this is a man who is not happy in his own body. And he wants to be happy. He's having surgery. He's taking hormones. He's getting breasts. He's letting his hair grow. He wants to be a woman. He'll probably more than likely everywhere he go be the tallest woman in the room, because I think he's about 6 foot. When Dianne Sawyer interviewed him about a month ago, and she said she's always the tallest woman in the room because I think she's 5'11".
He said not anymore.
Yeah, and he said not anymore. You saw that interview? But at the end of the day, you can't really worry about what people, now I'm straight, okay, I've been married twice, looking for number 3. And to a man, and but I have no problem with people being true to themselves, because if you're not true to yourself, who can you be true to? And down low men, I think, is a reason that there is a lot of AIDS in the world, in the country. As we know, Baton Rouge is one of the one or two, it goes from one year to the other as being number one in the country. Yeah. And I've heard reportedly that there are a lot of down low men in this city of Baton Rouge. And probably all over. And that's a big problem in the black community, it seems to be. And I don't know why. Again, I don't think I'll find a down low man to come on the show. But if anybody wants to, let me know. But I'm going to do some men in my next show very soon. And when we talk about with a lawyer, we're going to talk about legal ramifications. So you believe now with your book, Christy, God can deliver you the gay society. You believe that it's wrong to be gay.
Oh, yeah.
When you were doing it, did you believe it was wrong?
Yeah.
Did you love her?
Yeah.
As a man and a woman love each other?
Yes.
And what prompted you to leave her?
I call it my come to Jesus experience.
And what was that?
No certain person, nothing I heard. Just one day braiding hair in the ship's bathroom and listening to R. Kelly. And out of nowhere, I hear, now it's time for you to stop.
Now you were on the ship, so she wasn't with you, because she was a civilian.
Right.
Okay.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So I take my headphones off, and I asked the girl's hair I'm braiding. I'm like, Weber, did you say something? She's like, no, I didn't say anything, you know. So I put my headphones back on, and R. Kelly, and then I hear it again. Now it's time for you to stop. So I take my headphones off, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm tripping. I was like, well, Weber, can I finish your hair later?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, how about I just tomorrow, we do it tomorrow, not later, we'll do it tomorrow. And she was like, okay, well, fine. So I put all my things up, and while I'm getting my things, I just felt like I needed to cleanse. So I go and get in the shower, not really thinking anything of it, didn't hear, anything else from God or anything like that. So I go and I get in the shower, and the minute I turn the water on, it was just like, I don't even really know how to explain it, but I just began to cry and just ask for forgiveness, and just started to just, Lord, just help me, and it just felt like a cleansing, but not, I can't really tell you the words, I can't really explain the feeling. Right. And then after that, I didn't, not that day did I decide, oh, I'm gonna stop my relationship. It was more of, it kind of like brought me back to my place with God, because after that is when I felt like, okay, I want to read my Bible.
Was she religious, your partner?
Oh, no, not at all.
And you were not going to church when you were with her?
Wasn't going to church
But
at
had
all.
you been born and raised religious?
Yes,
raised
my mom
religious.
was an evangelist, correct.
Oh, okay. So she really, did she know this? Did she know about your relationship?
She knew after about a year into the relationship.
And she thought, oh my God, what have I done wrong, or what is wrong with you?
I think that's what she thought, but she didn't tell me.
Right.
She came to visit me one summer, and she stayed for about a month. And I told her I was going out one day, and I actually brought my girlfriend home and was introduced her to my mom and everything.
Really?
And she was just like, okay. She didn't say anything. Told her I was going out, and on my way out, she said, I'm just gonna tell you, you in something that you think you can get out of when you want to. She said, but it's gonna be as hard. She said, it's gonna be harder than what you think it's gonna be.
How hard was it? When you made up your mind,
it was terrible.
God, because you loved this woman, and she loved you. What did you tell her? Had she been with men before? Was this her first?
She had never been with a man. She had never been with a man.
Had she ever lived with a woman?
With women.
Okay, so she had before.
Yeah, she had always been with women.
And how old are you, Christine?
I'm 33.
And how old were you then?
22, 23.
And how was she?
A while ago. We're about the same. No, she was 20. She was like 2 years older than me, so about 24, 25. Really, that was like my first 3 months in. I remember that, because for the next 3 months, I went on like this word binge. Like, I was reading my Bible, I was praying more. I started to cut off certain things. Like, we would hang out on we call it mess decks, which is where you eat at. We would hang out on the mess decks, and we would play cards and, sit around, just cuss and act a fool. And I stopped doing that. I started spending more time with myself and with God. And then finally I stopped answering her emails and wouldn't call her.
How long were you out to sea for?
6 months.
Oh, yeah. So did you have lesbian relations on the ship
like,
with other women?
When I called myself separating from her, it was like I separated from her, but I was still in, and even though I was trying to like get closer to God, I still had these urges to just be with these other women that were now, they had always been wanting to talk to me, but it seemed like now, oh, they're available because I'm not with her anymore.
Right.
And even though I'm trying to change, it was like, well, I'm just gonna mess with her and I'm gonna go mess with her.
How did that feel to you? Did you feel as if you were cheating on your?
At first, which is why I didn't talk to him. And then towards the end, when I felt like, oh, I'm not with her anymore, I felt like it was okay. And then I actually began to sleep with women and men.
Okay.
But by the time the ship came to port, when it was time to come home, at that point, I was just like, I'm just done.
So was your marriage over by this point? Were you divorced?
Yeah.
I know it was over.
I wasn't divorced, but
the marriage was over.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're currently married to another man.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So if you had anything to say to Courtney, what would you tell her about what she's doing today?
I think the one thing I would say as a person that's already delivered is, don't let what I say or anybody else say force you to feel like you need to change.
I appreciate that.
Because for a long time I felt like other people were pressuring me to, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to stop and this is not right. When really it should be, let me make my conscious decision, because in the end I'll be judged for me. You're not going to be judged for me. I won't be judged for you. So I can just say, even though I say that I know that it's not right and I believe that God didn't call you to be that way, it's still your conscious decision. In the end, you have to answer for your life. You get what I'm saying? So don't ever let, and a lot of times it can be stressful because other people will look at you funny. Other people will say things and they will be mean and family members will cut you off, you know, but it's like, I gotta live for me, and whether it's a right or wrong choice, it's still gotta be a me choice. I made this decision. So I would just say, on your journey, whether I feel like you're going the right way or the wrong way, let your journey be your journey. And when God show up, because I know he will, it'll be between you and him. It won't be any outsiders. Nobody called me, nobody wrote a book, handed it to me. No minister showed up. My mama didn't say a word. It was literally me and God in that bathroom. When it's personal, it's personal. Your life is yours.
Yeah, what do you think, both of you, you know, there are different reasons why people live the gay, as we call it, life in America, boys and girls, men and women. Some people are raped by I did a show on rape about it out there on YouTube about a couple of months ago. And one lady was sodomized for 2.5 years by her uncle, only sodomized. But now she's not gay or anything because of it, per the show. And the other lady was raped from 3.5 to 10 by her grandfather. As I said, both those shows out there on YouTube. And a lot of people are born with mixed genitalia, as we know, hermaphrodites. And some people look at it and they don't understand there are millions of people in the world who were born with mixed genitalia. It's not as rare as people think it is. And now I think we can determine more so with the DNA what they should be. But back in, 10, 15 years ago, they couldn't determine. So I may make you a girl, but you really feel like a boy in your skin. And I don't know if that, I've never read that about Bruce Jenner. It's just that he said he felt like he was always a woman and wanted to dress and be a woman. And I don't know if that was part of it or not, but it is a big number a year. There are millions of hermaphrodites out in the world today. So, and the parent makes the decision. I want a little boy. I saw a show on Discovery once. They put ponytail, they made him a girl. And time he got out of the house when he was 18, he was, living as the man that he thought he was. I mean, he looked like a boy with straight hair on his head, and the ponytails and stuff. He did not, you could tell that he was, maybe should not have been being raised as a little girl. Because, he had the body fat like men do and we do. We have more body fat than men. We have like 20 to 25%, and they have, 10 or, some less than that body fat. That's what gives us the curves. So what would you say to, you're happy with your life, and is your family upset with you for your decisions, Courtney, on how to live your life?
No, the only person I had a problem with was my mom in the beginning. But
were you raised in a two-parent household?
No, I wasn't. It was just me and mom and my brothers. But
were you ever molested as a child?
I'd rather not comment.
Okay. Okay.
But
by a woman then? Can you answer that one? Molested by a woman as a child?
No.
Okay. All right.
But my mom was the only one, but she eventually, like the rest of my family, grew to embrace it. And
do you all visit holidays, spend time with your family?
Yeah.
With Taylor's family also? Okay. And her family's okay with this too?
It's newer to them than it is to my family, so they're still coming around. But for the most part, you know.
Were you ever in the closet in high school? Did you know that you?
Oh yeah.
Were you in the closet? Of course, you had to be in high school, right? You weren't going around.
Yeah. For my whole time in high school, I came out my last day of school.
That's what you're telling them. Hey, I'm free now. I'm 18. I'm graduating. I'm gay.
Yeah.
Is that what you're?
And my friends responded. You know, they were all like, "Well, are you just finding out?" Because we knew.
They knew all the time.
Yeah, you know, when you know, you just know.
It's you know, you may not look or act like a man, or but what we call butch, but it's something about you that it's always been in you to be with a woman, pretty much most of your life. What advice? She gave you advice. The only thing I'll ask Christy, and I asked you before, do you think that you were trying to get back at your husband somewhat? Because you know, if my husband quits me for a man, I can't compete. You quit him for a woman, is what he saw. That was probably the most humiliating thing that you could do to him, because I know you were mad, you were arguing. Yeah. Briefly tell me, we've got about 10 seconds left.
I don't know. I don't think it wasn't a tactic to get back at him at all. No.
Well, I sure appreciate you women for stepping up and telling us your story, and hopefully it will help somebody else out there to learn how to live their life as they deem best for whatever their goals and who they are in their life. So we'll be right back with Dianne Andrews in Black and White.
Order your copies now of Dianne Andrews' latest books, Third Man Out, a suspenseful mystery by Dianne Andrews, and Gumbo for the Heart, 25 stories of faith, hope, and charity, both available now on Amazon.com.
Thanks for coming back to Dianne Andrews in Black and White for my closing. I did want to mention to you that both the previous ladies on the show, Courtney goes to Unitarian Church. At times she doesn't consider herself religious, but considers herself spiritual. While Christy belongs to a non-denominational church and considers herself religious and spiritual. You can also get her book on Amazon.com, or you can Google her name and go into her website, and it'll tell you where else to get her book from. As you all have seen the show before, and I heard you tell me you never tire of this, as a little girl growing up in Rouge, Louisiana, in a little small town, on Sundays I used to see this ritual done on a show. They would light the white candles. Some people tell me, why don't you get the, the lighter, the automatic lighters? It doesn't have the same impact that this does using a light, a regular match to light the candle. Because that's what I saw and that's what I remember. All my life I've tried to live my life having, shining a light and having a light inside me to help other people. Remember, always have humility and humanity. Have a nice week and see you next week on Dianne Andrews in Black and White.